What is up, guys? Wraec here with a new video, and today I want to talk about a topic that, well, some of you might be more confronted with than others, because what I want to talk about are dying servers, and some servers really at the moment aren't in the best position. I am quite lucky in that regard because I am on server 33. Server 33 is rather active, and a quick indicator to see whether or not your server is active can actually be found in the Dream Realm rankings, because you will find up to 200 players listed in here. And depending on whether you even find 200 players there and how much their damage drops, you can see a quick little example of, well, how good your server is really here. So if we scroll down right now to the bottom of this leaderboard, we will find, well, give me a second, we have to scroll a bit more. We will find 38 billion damage at place 200. So there are 200 people in this server. 38 billion is still a respectable hit, I have to say, and many are in even notable guilds. Even our second guild, OP Academy, there we go, Namida, very nice. And actually, we will have a good amount of players still on that server. For some servers, this is not the case though. You might as well just be looking at this leaderboard and see, well, there aren't even 200 people. There might even be 100 people or even less. And there's one guy that actually made or put himself up to the task of finding out about this, and that is Avatar. And he made like a list of all the servers and how active they are in this Season 2 Waves of Intrigue. And thus he made this graphic. This graphic shows all the servers, and there is a little bit of a legend to this. We can see the color scale, number of players. The red ones, 150 active players or less. Yellow, 150 to 200, 201 to 250, 250 to 300. And then we go into the green one if we are above 300. And you can quickly see there aren't too many really deep green ones, but S33, there we go, is certainly one of them. And still, there are some concerning numbers like S9, S10, 11, 13. 13 will be a special case, we'll talk about that in a second. And some servers seem to, well, really randomly be lower. But one reason for that might be that some of them were actually targeted with specific regions. There is a ton of German players, for example, on S33, and if you don't know it, I am in fact from Germany, so I was sent to S33. I randomly made a guild there, and my guild members are all German. We have a German guild chat now. It is quite interesting. So this seems to be a little bit of an indication towards why some servers are more inactive and some servers are a lot more active. It seems to be that a lot of German players seem to enjoy the game and stuck with it, while in other regions where I don't really know, this wasn't quite the case. So this is a reason why some servers are randomly more active. And maybe, I mean, it is more fun if you are in a nice community. And this can establish itself, cannot establish itself. But yeah, so if we take a look, the top servers, the lower number servers seem to still be rather active. While when we go into the more higher server numbers, we see there are, well, not really a whole lot of green ones. More, we have the light green ones right here, and then we have a lot of red ones and a lot of those orange ones that are, well, still okay-ish, on the verge of going into red, not too great. And towards the end, well, we see a little bit of the light yellow ones, a little bit of the orange ones, some red ones, some green ones, all a little bit in the middle. So not super bad, not super good. And concerning ones are really the red ones, because while 150 is still okay, less can be a problem, because you have 30 players in the guild already. And the thing, and many people don't really understand, is the smaller your server is, the more limited your guild is in recruiting new players to it. So when we take a look into the game and we go into the guild and we have a game mode like Clash Fronts where we fight against other guilds from the same district, or battle drills where we are on the same leaderboard, or let's say guild supremacy. I mean, those guilds aren't from my district, aren't from my server, they are from my district, yeah, but I have to compete against those guys. And when my server is super small and I barely get 30 active players together, well, I can't really compete against the top guild from another server where they might have a whole lot more players and they have an easy time of recruiting players with top accounts to their guild. So I have no chance at that. So the smaller your server really is, the less likely it is you are going to do well with your guild in those guild-specific game modes. And actually, Lilith and Farlight Games, the developers of AFK Journey, have realized this, and they have introduced a mechanic to combat this. And we saw this the first time really at the start of the season. They introduced the allied server mechanics. And this specific server we talked a second about, the server 13, is one of the allied servers. So this was actually written down by Avatar. We can see ally server, your server S13 is now allied with S7. You may join guilds of your ally server freely. Allied server will share the same district going forward. So what does that mean? We can take a look. We see S7, a light green server. Still one of the bigger servers, but not one of the top size servers, was allied with S13. A red server, so very little player numbers. They're now together with S7. Essentially, we could say probably bringing them to the green level now if we add the player numbers together. And what happened there now? So what can you do? What can't you do? Well, many players, when they initially saw this mechanic, they were a little bit afraid that we might discuss something like a server merge here. What is a server merge? Well, a server merge is the usual mechanic we see in other games. For example, the other game that I cover called Idle Heroes, where they just add the player populations of two servers together and they build one new server. And while this, of course, raises the player numbers, it is a little bit annoying in the case that you just experience, well, nearly a doubling in most cases of your player numbers on your server, making every game mode that is local to your server more competitive, which is rather annoying. So, with the allied servers, this is actually not the case. Certain leaderboards stay within your server, so you won't experience necessarily this raise in competitiveness throughout your server, because the leaderboards for Dream Realm, for example, they stay the same. So this one, and the leaderboard for Arena as well. So you won't see the people from your ally server in your server-side arena, server rankings that is, of course. As the other allied server will, of course, always be in your district, those people will, of course, be in your district rankings in Dream Realm. Thus, there might be a little bit of an increase in competitiveness there compared to a state of no allied server in there, but you will still not be at a state where, well, your district has like an awfully high player number. This is unlikely to result from this mechanic. So in the end, you just like get more loot from your server ranking site. We get the same loot from your server ranking site, and from your guild side, you are more competitive on the district end. So the allied server mechanics is really an interesting way that they decided to combat this problem, and it hasn't really been rolled out too much. And well, there is a little bit of a discussion going on, mostly initiated by Avatar, about whether they should do this. And I think it has a lot of positive sides to it. In generally, bigger server numbers, bigger per server populations, some allied servers where you can recruit from different guilds, and not too many small servers. I think that would be kind of good, because there are many guilds that just struggle to find players, and as soon as your guild becomes smaller, you see people quitting left and right, and you struggle to find new players. Well, the game definitely becomes a whole lot less fun. And when you aren't even able anymore to compete in the guild game modes, that's really not too great. So I think it would be kind of interesting to go ahead and ally a few more servers and try to put them together. And by the way, this has also been discussed a little bit by Vulcan and Zebo. They made a video recently together. You can find it on Vulcan's channel. Definitely recommend check out those two. They made an interesting discussion about that. I really liked it. What I'm curious about now is really, would you be interested in this happening to your server? I reckon if you are one from the green servers like me, the interest is not that high, though my vice leader of my guild would certainly appreciate another guild to recruit people from. I can definitely see that Kerry would love that. But if you are like a red server, I reckon that would be something. Is your server maybe already allied? I would really like to hear your opinion down in the comments below, because I would like to send this also to the community managers to maybe have them ally a few more servers, depending on whether you guys would like it or not. So please write your server down in the comments, and just whether you want it or not. And maybe for me, whether you feel your server has enough players at the moment, or your district has enough players. I guess I would really love to hear the opinion of some of those people on the red servers. What is your perception of this? Do you feel like your server is dead? Was that something that you experienced? That would be really, really interesting for me. I will definitely send the comments to the community manager so that we can really give a little bit of a background on this topic to them. Everybody else, thank you for watching this video. I hope you appreciated this little take on the dead servers. Until then, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.